If there's one thing you need to know about me, it's that I'm self-conscious as fuck. And how I got to this point can be summarized in one sentence. They can't make fun of me if I make fun of myself. Now, who are they? Why do I make fun of myself? And how did that lead me to having low self-confidence? Stick around because this story gets kind of weird.
Self-confidence is something I always sucked at, and being bullied in high school didn't make it any better.
I used to get so upset about it because I didn't know how to defend myself. I wasn't quick on my feet to throw insults back at them, but when I finally thought of the perfect response, it was 2 weeks later.
Suffice to say, this put me in a vicious feedback loop, where I have low confidence, someone makes fun of me, I can't respond until it's too late, my confidence drops further, and the cycle repeats. This exasperated my timidity and made it almost impossible for me to have any semblance of belief in myself. So much so that I couldn't even make decisions on my own anymore. I needed a way to combat those bullies so I could build my confidence from the ground up. Then, one day, I saw a video by Brooks Gibbs, a social psychologist specializing in resilience training, that changed my perspective on responding to them.
In a nutshell, Gibbs explains that the bully's objective is to have power over their victims in their interactions.
The angrier the victim gets, the more fun the bully has, and so they keep going. But what would happen if the victim instead responds with indifference and stops caring about what the bully says? The bully will eventually get bored and leave them alone.
That realization turned my world upside down. I finally cracked the code to solve the one thing that made me more miserable than anything else. So all that was left to do was to put it in practice. But there was just one teeny tiny little problem. I had already graduated and I never saw my bullies again. So, a normal person will be grateful to not deal with people like that anymore, but will be ready to confront them in the future if they do come again. Unfortunately, I'm not normal. If I agonized all these years to find a solution to a problem and that problem just magically disappears one day, you best believe that I will find another use for that solution. If you're indifferent to a bully, it exudes confidence and shows that what other people say about you doesn't really bother you. So, I had to find a way to show that I'm comfortable with myself and my shortcomings. In other words, a way to show that I'm confident. Enter self-deprecating humor. Now, this is where the idea that I mentioned at the beginning comes in. They can't make fun of me if I make fun of myself. But now that there was no one to make fun of me, I had to find a different reason to make fun of myself.
As we all know, one of the best ways to connect with people is through laughter. If you both laugh at the same thing, it becomes much easier to relate to one another. In that case, self-deprecating humor allowed me to kill two birds with one stone, show off my newfound confidence, and connect with people through laughing at myself. What could possibly go wrong?
You see, it served me well in the beginning. I connected with a lot of people and made them laugh. But over the years, something started to change. I started believing what I was saying, and I ended up being the only one who laughed at himself. Whether it was my immigration background or my indecision, I did not leave a quality in myself that I didn't roast. Eventually, all these thoughts combined wrecked whatever confidence I had left. But the worst part about low confidence is that people can smell it from a mile away. And once they do, they will treat you exactly how you treat yourself.
With low confidence comes low self-respect. And as a result, people's respect towards you is diminished. I ended up creating a false version of myself that I thought people would like and relate to more than the real version. Instead, people ended up not respecting that false version that tried too hard. That reminded me of a principle in psychology I read from Mark Manson called the backwards law. The more you try to achieve something, the more you will fail to do so. The more effort I put into being confident, the less confident I felt. The more effort I put into making others respect me, the less they did. And that's when I finally understood that self-deprecating humor is a fine balance. If you overuse it as a crutch to exude confidence, you will come off as insecure and people will treat you as such. But if that humor comes from a place of self-awareness and being comfortable with your drawbacks, then others are more likely to respect you as a result.
I ended up trying to fix a problem with the wrong solution. I learned that it's not what you say or what kind of joke you make that will make others relate to you. Rather, it's how you carry yourself and how comfortable you are with your flaws and your insecurities. It's only by making peace with them that you can make fun of them, not to draw a cheap laugh out of the other person. Then, and only then, will self-deprecating humor be an asset rather than a drawback. My goal is to avoid using it as a crutch to relate to the other person. Instead, I'll try to engage in more thoughtful discussions by being vulnerable because that's what creates the strongest connection there is. Only when the opportunity presents itself that, yeah, I'll make fun of myself. The only difference is that it'll be coming from a place of self-respect, as paradoxical as that sounds. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time as the journey continues. Assalamu alaikum.